Well, hello and happy Monday. It's digital host A.J. Wuest here, welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I take you through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Wherever you're watching, whether that's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, thank you for watching and spending just a little of your Monday afternoon here with me. Now, with all of that out of the way, I say it is time we now jump into some of our day's top stories this Monday afternoon. And of course, starting things off in Lawrence County, where authorities say they have now arrested a pair just 4 months after the man's dogs mauled and killed another man. Now, Jonathan Nix and Melissa Todd, who you're currently seeing on screen, were both charged with domestic violence last night by the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office. Todd, the man on the left, is also charged with harassment. Now, according to the Sheriff's Office, Nix was bitten by a dog in a house. Now, they confirm Nix is the owner of the dogs who mauled Willard Norton back in July. He was their elderly neighbor. And he was mauled to death, not back in July, but back in June. Now, deputies say the dogs involved in the deadly attack were put down. They also said the most recent dogs that bit Nix didn't have a rabies shot and would be quarantined for 10 days with animal control. But interesting situation there. Now let's head over to Huntsville, where police say a body was found in a creek last night. Now, an investigation is currently underway after Huntsville police say the body was found in a creek located near University Drive and Meadow Drive. Police say they were unable to identify the body and was given to the Madison County coroner. Now, this is all the information we have on this situation at this time, but we'll be sure to update you all as we learn more. And staying in Huntsville, the South Star Music Festival happened this weekend, but unfortunately, day 2 of the music festival did not happen due to severe deterioration of the grounds. Now, at John Hunt Park yesterday, this comes after the festival was delayed on Saturday. 48's Callie Neese will have more following up on the field conditions at John Hunt Park, along with more details on the entire situation coming up at 4. And a motorcycle club was destroyed early this morning after a fire broke out within the building. Now, Huntsville fire crews responded to a fire around 5 this morning at the Dirty Boys Motorcycle Club on Stringfield Road. Fire officials say they couldn't see flames coming through the roof, or they could see flames coming through the roof upon arrival, and that the building is a total loss. Fortunately, no one was injured in the fire. And now, a story in case you missed it. Yesterday marked 1 year since the shooting death of Steve Perkins in Decatur. 48's DeQuan Lee with more.
It almost gave us a small breather, so to speak.
It's been a long year for Nick Perkins and his family. A year ago Sunday, his brother Steve Perkins was shot and killed in his own yard by a Decatur police officer. They had been called to his home after a tow truck driver said Perkins threatened him during a repossession. His death has been the epicenter for activism. Many have used the incident to call for reform in the city, especially inside the police department. But today was more about Steve Perkins, the man, rather than what his death represents.
When I got here, I was a little down. I just wasn't really feeling, up to it, but I feel better leaving the service because it did lift my spirits.
Family, friends, supporters, even complete strangers were here. Nick Perkins says the process of grief is a long one, but hearing how his brother touched so many others does help to ease his spirits.
Hearing the people talk about Steve and all the good deeds that he did and just speak so highly of him. So right now I'm in a very somber mood, I guess. There's still a void that won't be filled because Steve's gone, and of course that's hard to deal with, but to hear everybody speak very highly of him today has been good. It's done us well.
Nick's process of grieving includes the murder trial for Mac Marquette, the officer charged with his brother's murder. Originally scheduled for November, it has since moved to April. Reporting indicator DeQuan Lee, 48 on your side.
Well, thank you to Quan. Now let's talk about the weather this week here in the Tennessee Valley. 48 First Alert meteorologist Chelsea Aaron with the latest forecast. Chelsea?
Yeah, AJ, it's been a bit of a gloomy Monday today as overcast and mostly cloudy skies have stuck around longer than they should in the Tennessee Valley, but plenty more sunshine will be headed your way likely late Tuesday afternoon and continue throughout the rest of your week. Here's a live look across Huntsville where most of us are dry, but still tracking a few light lingering showers for areas mainly north of the Tennessee River. These will quickly dissipate as we head into the evening hours. And despite all of the cloud cover today, trending warmer with areas in the middle and upper 70s. With light winds and clearing skies through the evening and overnight hours, we will be tracking the threat again for areas of patchy to locally dense fog through your early morning commute. Go ahead and allow a few extra minutes before you head out the door, but Tuesday will shape up to be a nice October day. We will see partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies by the afternoon with high temperatures trending closer to normal in the lower and middle 80s. We continue to track the tropics as they remain active. We'll be giving you the latest on the tropics and your upcoming weekend forecast coming up at 4 o'clock.
Well, thank you, Chelsea. Now the latest on Hurricane Helene. After making landfall late Thursday along Florida's Big Bend and working its way through the southeast, the superstorm claiming at least 110 lives, with many more unaccounted for. NBC's George Solis joins us now from Asheville, North Carolina, one of many cities and towns facing a long road to recovery.
This morning, the devastating effects of Hurricane Helene reaching far and wide as residents come face to face with destruction and a tragic reality.
I don't know if we can rebuild or be able to come back from this.
After the storm swept into the southeast last week, floodwaters downing bridges and submerging entire towns, like Chimney Rock, North Carolina, now destroyed. And as cleanup begins, large swaths of communities, like here in Asheville, North Carolina, still underwater. From above the city, heartbreaking views. Some areas still unreachable by water slow to recede.
I've never seen anything like this. I mean, there were buildings fully submerged.
My mother lives in a nursing home. We tried to get there today, and you just can't.
Some people kayaking to safety. We were there when water rescues got underway. And the storm also devastating Florida's Gulf Coast. The dangerous surge flooding homes and city streets. Helene's 100-plus-mile-an-hour winds ripping out floors as locals begin the long road to rebuilding.
We're going to get started. We're not going to wait a month or two.
Throughout the South and beyond, cars that survived the storm,
lines moving very slow,
at a standstill, waiting for hours to fill up at the pump. While in North Carolina, many roads are impassable, making rescues even more difficult, and meaning the true scope of the damage and loss is still unknown.
What Mother Nature can do and the damage is just, it's incredible.
Well, thank you, George. Now in the race for the White House, we are now just 36 days away from Election Day, with voters in several states already casting early and absentee ballots. Former President Trump and Vice President Harris each courting voters in key swing states over the weekend, as their running mates prepare for their first and only debate tomorrow night. NBC senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson has the latest.
A swing state split screen as Election Day closes in. Former President Trump in the Rust Belt, Vice President Harris, the Sun Belt, rallying voters overnight in Nevada, where she called out the former president for saying he won't do another debate.
And as you say here in Las Vegas, I'm all in. I'm all in. Even if my opponent is ready to fold.
Vice President Harris also slamming Mr. Trump for his role in killing that bipartisan immigration bill earlier this year and what she called fanning flames of division and fear.
Look, we need a president who cares more about solving problems than playing political games and demeaning people full time.
The vice president, fresh off her visit to the southern border in Arizona, earning an endorsement from the state's Republican former Senator Jeff Flake.
She wants to have a tougher policy than than the Biden administration has employed, and I think that that's certainly needed.
But former President Trump blasting the vice president on immigration.
She should be impeached and prosecuted for her actions.
While also escalating personal attacks by insulting her over the weekend.
Kamala is mentally impaired. Think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country.
Even some Republicans pushing back.
And now he's questioning her mental competence, and I think that's insulting not only to the vice president, but to people that actually do have mental disabilities.
But Mr. Trump doubling down Sunday.
Crooked Joe Biden became mentally impaired, sad. But Lion Kamala Harris, honestly, I believe she was born that way.
And in the same speech, speaking about crime.
See, we have to let the police do their job. And if they have to be extraordinarily rough.
And after last year suggesting police should shoot shoplifters as they leave stores, now proposing a free period of violence as a deterrent.
They have to be taught. Now, if you had one really violent day, one rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately.
Well, thank you. Now in sports, the Week 6 48 game of the week, the Athens Golden Eagles soaring out to Muscle Shoals this Friday to take on the Trojans. Athens remains undefeated after a 39-14 victory over Hazel Green last week. But on the other side, the red-hot Muscle Shoals Trojans have won their last 3 by at least 2 touchdowns. They defeated Florence, Decatur, and the latest, Coleman, 55-27. Should certainly be a great game this Friday night. Very excited about that. But now, if you're already looking for something to do this weekend, maybe it's after those Friday night lights, you need something to do for Saturday. And especially if you're a fan of music made here in North Alabama, you're definitely just not going to want to miss the 65th birthday celebration of Fame Recording Studios, which will be held here in Huntsville this Friday and Saturday. You'll see live performances from bands like The War and Treaty, Robert Cray, Maggie Rose, Betty LaVette, and so much more. Last week I spoke with Rodney Hall. He is the president of Fame Studios, and take a listen to what he had to say about this weekend's celebration. Take a listen.
Just a mountain of hit music. Over 400 million records have been sold out of our building. So, yeah, it's quite a milestone. We're excited to bring it to North Alabama and to celebrate with everyone in the area.
And talk a little about the birthday celebration. Like, what all can we expect to see there?
Okay. Friday night, we're kicking it off at the camp with the Show Enough Band, which is an all-star band of Muscle Shoals musicians. And we'll be doing classics. There'll be a lot of guest vocalists coming in to sit in with them. A group called Bonneville will be coming in from Mississippi to jam with them. Saturday, all day long, we're going to have a Mid-City takeover in Mid-City. The streets blocked off with vendors, stages, music. We'll have the Outlaw Apostles will be playing there, Rob Aldridge and the Proponents, Light Watch, and there'll be children's activities all day long in Mid-City. And then Saturday night at the Orion, we'll be kicking it off with an all-star concert with Robert Cray, The War and Treaty, Robert Randolph, Betty LaVette, John Paul White, Gary Nichols, Dylan LeBlanc, just a whole slew of, and all the legendary Muscle Shoals guys. Spooner Oldham will be there, the Fame gang, some of the Swampers will be around. So yeah, it's going to be a great time, and I want everybody to come out and enjoy the weekend with us. Just hopefully the weather's going to be good. It's looking good for that weekend. This weekend, I'm not so sure, but yeah, we're very excited to bring it to Huntsville in North Alabama. Just
sounds like a super great time. And again, that event will be going on this weekend, Friday, October 4th and Saturday, October 5th. But you can watch that full 48 Now interview with more details on our website. Just go to WAFF.com. There's a digital shows section. And then finally, 48 Now. But now, staying on the topic of country music, we all lost a country music legend yesterday. Kris Kristofferson, who wrote songs for so many big-name artists, died over the weekend. He was 88 years old. Joe Fryer is here with a look back at his outstanding career.
Singer, songwriter, and renowned actor Kris Kristofferson was a country music legend whose career spanned more than 50 years. Freedom's just another word. Some of the biggest names in music, from Elvis Presley to the Grateful Dead, recorded his songs. Me and my Bobby McGee. Janis Joplin's version of Me and Bobby McGee topped the charts in 1971. Kristofferson also wrote the #1 country hit Sunday Morning Coming Down for his friend and mentor Johnny Cash.
Sunday morning coming down.
And the 1972 hit Help Me Make It Through the Night, covered by Sammy Smith and later Gladys Knight, became a #1 country and top 10 pop hit, earning Kristofferson a Grammy. He spent much of the 1970s married to singer Rita Coolidge, with whom he won 2 more Grammys.
You can't quit. Watch me.
He wasn't just known for his music. Kristofferson was also an accomplished actor, making his big screen debut in the 1971 film Cisco Pike. Later starred in Martin Scorsese's Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Pack your bags. I'll take you to Monterey.
And in 1976 won a Golden Globe, starring opposite Barbra Streisand in the remake of A Star Is Born.
We're coming closer, lady. Don't you leave me now.
Kristofferson discussed overcoming his own real-life battle with substance abuse here on Today.
I hope that by cleaning up my act, that I'll be more able to practice my art or my craft or whatever it is, and to do my work better.
Drug-free and sober, Kristofferson later went on to star as Whistler in the Blade series.
They've been lying to us from day one.
In 2004, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, giving his final musical appearance last year, the 90th birthday celebration for Willie Nelson.
Loving you is easier than anything I'll ever do again.
His family announced his death, saying in part, "We're all so blessed for our time with him. Thank you for loving him all these many years."
Well, thank you, Joe. Certainly a legend, and he will definitely not be forgotten. Now, a very cool story I saw earlier out of Dothan. Brooms, gloves, and mops are custodians' essential tools. However, many overlook their most valuable tool, the impact they have on the students every single day. Local News Live's Jamel Johnson introduces us to one custodian impacting their school. Take a listen.
Mopping.
All right.
Sweeping.
Hey, Miss Hams.
And wiping down windows. Floyd Falk does it all for the school that holds a special place in his heart.
I went to school here back in 1975. I never would have dreamed that I would come back here and work.
It's an opportunity he took to come back and make a difference. He may not be a teacher, but he's influencing students every day.
I always tell them that there's nothing you can't do. Use your mind, that's going to be your ticket out of here.
He's trying to be in their corner during hard times.
Because with all the peer pressure today, kids have a tough time, and they need someone other than their parents outside to encourage them.
A job of more than just keeping things squeaky clean, but to uplift students and teachers too.
And I tell them all the time, you're going to probably be some of the positive images in these kids' lives by you being their teacher and believing in them and inspiring them.
Now, when you think of Mr. Falk, you may think he's a janitor, but Mr. Falk actually tells me he's a custodian. And I asked him, I said, Mr. Falk, what's the difference between janitor and custodian? He said, 'cause custodians care.
I want you to finish high school, come back, show me your diploma, and just say, Mr. Falk, I did it. That would be enough for me.
After this year, he'll finally have his wish.
A young lady, she came by and she told me, she said, Mr. Falk, I'm now a senior. And I said, well, you know our deal. Come by when you get that diploma and show me. And she said, I will.
He is not seeking recognition. Just trying to touch as many lives as he can. In Dothan, Jamel Johnson, your hometown news leader.
Rolls Royces here that we carry around. Got to keep this cart. We got our mop water, cleaning supplies on it. A little notepad if we need something we need to write down as far as, hey, this room may need a little bit more attention today because of something coming up tomorrow, or we may have a meeting. So we just try to, stay prepared.
Mopping.
All right.
Well, thank you, Jamel. Now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. Senator Tommy Tuberville in Huntsville today. Find out what he had to say tonight in our evening newscast. Another story you're just not going to want to miss. A new grant in Henniger that will go towards improving industry in the area. Get that story from 48 Savannah Sap. And finally, the latest on the efforts locals are doing here in the Tennessee Valley to help Hurricane Helene victims. 48's Aria Pons will have more on that story you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. And it is just about that time, I would say. What time is it? It is time for Facebook Fun. Our 48 Facebook question of the day, it posted at exactly 11:45 a.m. this morning. The question was, what has improved about your life in the last year? And I definitely have to say, my life has definitely changed and improved quite a bit within the last year. This time last year, I was a recent college graduate looking for jobs, as a recent college graduate does. And now, a year later, I have now been working here for, since January, 8 months now. And I've enjoyed every bit of it. Living alone, away from the parents. It's been a transition for sure, but I have had a blast over the past year. But what I want to know is what you all had to say. Let's see how y'all's lives have improved over the last year. Brian Packard, he said karate. I could definitely see how karate could improve someone's life, especially if you're just dying to get out, go work out, get some exercise in, or just trying to blow off some steam. I could definitely see karate being a great way to do that. Brian, thank you so much for commenting. Keep at it. Amanda Little said marrying her amazing husband. Absolutely. Amanda, congratulations. I hope you all, I'm sure you all are very happy together, and I hope that lasts for a very long time. Amanda, thank you so much for commenting. Rebecca Wade said more travel and more camping. Absolutely. Nothing like going out into Mother Nature and going camping for sure. Do you go camping the traditional way, Rebecca? That's what I want to know. Are you getting out the tent, starting your own fire, roasting whatever's for dinner on the fire, or are you more of a camper gal? That is what I want to know. But nothing wrong with either or. Traveling, definitely would recommend. Rebecca, keep at it. You got this. Absolutely. Thank you for commenting. And then Rafferty Fisher said he has rediscovered old hobbies and he has committed to his sobriety. Rafferty, congratulations. That is so awesome to hear. And rediscovering old hobbies, nothing like it. That is a good thing to do for sure. Rafferty, thank you so much for commenting. And everyone who commented on Facebook Fun today, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Not seeing any comments here on Facebook, but that is okay. Let me check YouTube real quick to see if we see. I'm not seeing any quite on YouTube. Yeah, also, if you're watching Before the Four throughout the week, feel free to leave comments in real time. I can see so if you do right here. And I would love to hear from you all. That would be super awesome. But that is just about all for today's Before the Four. I want to thank you all for sticking around with me and spending just a little of your Monday afternoon with me. I know Mondays are not always the greatest days of the week, but y'all, we are almost through it. It is almost Tuesday, so that is definitely some good news. And I don't know if you all are fans of baseball, but Major League Baseball is getting super exciting right now as they near into the postseason. The last day for regular season baseball, so super exciting. The National League bracket is still getting filled out, so we'll have to see who made the National League postseason tomorrow. But that is it for today's Before the Four. Thanks again for sticking around with me. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 Digital app, the 48 Sports Zone app, because we all know high school football is definitely in full gear, and you're going to want to stay up to date with those teams. And also, the 48 First Alert weather app is a necessity. Make sure you download those 3 apps, turn on the push notifications, and you will never miss a breaking story. But with that said, that is all the time I have. But of course, thank you for watching. You all have a great night.